Welcome to Compelling Topics, the only channel dedicated to the perspective of leading researchers from the Italian independent scene. Let's turn your minds on. Ettore Majorana was born in Catania on August 5, 1906, into a cultured Sicilian bourgeois family deeply engaged in scientific and political life. His father, Fabio Massimo Majorana, was a manager at a telephone company, while his mother, Salvatrice Corso, came from an equally respected family. Ettore was the fourth of 5 children in a household where intellectual curiosity and dedication to knowledge were evident from early childhood. From the very first years of school, he showed extraordinary talent. According to biographical reconstructions and testimonies, Majorana stood out as exceptionally intelligent. Gifted at mental calculation, able to tackle complex problems quickly and accurately, he seemed to possess a mind beyond the ordinary from the earliest years. In 1915, he moved with his family to Rome and attended the prestigious Jesuit-run Massimiliano Massimo Institute, receiving a solid classical education. After high school, in 1923, he graduated from the Liceo Statale Torquato Tasso. Initially, he enrolled in the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Rome, but his inclination toward pure science soon became unmistakable. At the suggestion of his friend Emilio Segri and other colleagues, he switched to the Faculty of Theoretical Physics, where he joined the group of young scientists known as the Via Panisperna Boys under the guidance of Enrico Fermi. Within Fermi's group, which included physicists such as Edoardo Amaldi, Bruno Pontecorvo, Franco Rossetti, and others, Majorana distinguished himself through exceptional theoretical talent. His impact was such that, according to historical accounts, he once reviewed Fermi's calculations on a table of atomic potentials, and after seeing the values for only a few moments, returned the next day with an identical table reconstructed entirely in his mind, a feat that deeply impressed Fermi and his colleagues. In July 1929, he graduated with top marks and honors, presenting a thesis on the quantum theory of radioactive nuclei, a work that marked his early prominence in nuclear studies and his commitment to cutting-edge theoretical physics. Between 1929 and 1937, Majorana published a series of papers which, though few in number, contained ideas of enormous significance. In 1932, he developed a relativistic theory of particles with arbitrary spin, introducing concepts that anticipated later understandings of elementary particle physics. In 1933, following James Chadwick's discovery of the neutron, he worked on nuclear theories that astonishingly prefigured ideas later adopted by other physicists. Majorana also undertook study visits abroad. He visited major research centers such as Leipzig in Germany and, according to some accounts, Copenhagen, where he interacted with leading figures of international theoretical physics such as Werner Heisenberg and Niels Bohr. One of his most enduring scientific contributions is the Majorana equation and the theorization of Majorana fermions, particles that are their own antiparticles, a concept now central to particle physics and dark matter studies. His work on the nature of neutrinos and symmetry group representations anticipated discoveries and methodologies that would only be fully understood decades later. In 1937, Majorana applied for a professorship in theoretical physics at the University of Palermo. The evaluation commission, presided over by Fermi, sent a letter to the Minister of National Education recommending Majorana for the position for high and well-deserved fame, bypassing the standard competitive process, a rare acknowledgement of his scientific stature. The minister approved, and Majorana was appointed full professor at the University of Naples, where he arrived in January 1938 and began lecturing. On March 24, 1938, he gave his last lecture, and on March 25th, he went to the Physics Institute to deliver notes to a student. After leaving the hotel that afternoon, he was never seen again. Officially, His disappearance remains an unresolved mystery. Official investigations, even under political pressure, including direct intervention from Mussolini, produced no conclusive results. Years later, in 2015, the Rome prosecutor's office formally closed the case, citing a photograph purportedly showing him in Venezuela in the mid-1950s, but without providing conclusive evidence. Majorana's figure transcends physics. He is often regarded as one of the greatest theoretical physicists of the 20th century, capable of insights comparable to Galileo or Newton in depth and originality. His scientific output, though limited to only 9 published papers, continues to influence studies on neutrinos, dark matter, and fundamental symmetry. His disappearance, surrounded by enigmatic letters, contradictory testimonies, and fascinating hypotheses, has fueled a mythos combining science, mystery, and cultural imagination, making Majorana not only a symbol of modern physics, but also an enduring enigma. The long account we are about to explore comes from a video published on the channel Facciamo Finta Che, conceived and directed by Gianluca Lamberti, a platform that for years has hosted interviews and in-depth discussions on historical, scientific, and boundary topics, maintaining a deliberately open and questioning approach. Rino Di Stefano is an Italian journalist and writer with decades of experience in investigative reporting and news journalism. After a long career with major Italian newspapers, he has published several essays and investigative books, focusing on complex and controversial cases that intertwine history, mystery, and science. He is best known for his investigation into the Majorana Pelizza case, a journalistic work that lasted over 13 years. According to the account reported by Rino Di Stefano in his investigation, Rolando Pelizza is said to have met Ettore Majorana in a cloistered convent in 1958 during a journey related to his work. Pelizza, the owner of a footwear factory in the province of Brescia, went to a Carthusian monastery on business, where he met a man whom the monks called the Professor. This man, with whom Pelizza established a relationship of trust, took him under his guidance and taught him concepts of what the witness described as the new physics. In Di Stefano's reconstruction, Majorana would have passed on extremely advanced knowledge to Pelizza and introduced him to theoretical and practical work connected to a revolutionary technology that remained secret. Rino Di Stefano's account begins with his meeting Rolando Pelizza, a central figure in the narrative. According to Di Stefano, Pelizza was not the caricatured or fraudulent figure sometimes portrayed by the media. On the contrary, he emerges as a deeply devout individual, guided by strict ethical principles, including the absolute refusal to allow any military use of the scientific knowledge he claimed to possess. At the heart of the testimony is what is referred to as Majorana's machine, a device capable of radical modifications of matter. Pelizza claimed that the device could annihilate matter, transforming it from solid state to pure energy through a prearranged beam. According to Di Stefano, this machine represents a direct link between Majorana's advanced theories and a potential practical application, although it was never officially documented. To make the concept more evocative, Di Stefano introduces a hypothetical parallel with the Ark of the Covenant, described in the Bible as an object capable of destroying enemies and incinerating them. If a similar technology had existed in ancient times, it might have been interpreted as divine. Likewise, he references Nikola Tesla's death ray, a theoretical concept for concentrating destructive energy at a distance, a technology, unlike Pelizza's machine, that is at least theoretically understandable, though still within the realm of scientific imagination. Among the most concrete episodes reported by Di Stefano is a medallion depicting the Madonna del Miracolo, approximately 3 centimeters tall, but with an anomalous weight of 7.61 grams, more than double that of ordinary medallions. According to Pelizza, the object had been transmuted by the machine, along with tens of thousands of others. The medallion bore no markings of manufacture or purity, which, under Italian law, would have made it immediately confiscatable if presented to a jeweler. Di Stefano also documents a Swiss 5-franc coin, shown in a television segment and dissected to demonstrate that gold was present even inside the metal. All of these episodes are presented rigorously. Di Stefano draws no conclusions but connects the information, leaving the audience to reflect. Despite his alleged access to highly advanced knowledge and international contacts, Pelizza's daily life was far from comfortable. Di Stefano recounts concrete episodes of economic hardship, such as his inability to pay for specialized medical care, resolved only through the help of friends. This raises a crucial question. If Pelizza truly had access to immense resources or secret facilities, why did he live under such precarious conditions? According to Di Stefano, the answer is not provided, but the detail contributes to a complex and realistic portrait. The account includes references to alleged interventions by CIA elements, described almost as two opposing figures, the good and the bad, who would have tried to interfere or exert pressure. Di Stefano emphasizes that these are exclusively Pelizza's statements, without independent verification. Similarly, a document attributed to Pelizza mentions a Vatican meeting with President George W. Bush in the presence of cardinals. Di Stefano highlights the impossibility of verifying such events. Who could confirm them? The State Department? The Vatican? These elements remain suspended in a gray zone, where the narrative is limited to reporting facts as recounted. The narrative intertwines with modern technology. Di Stefano cites the so-called U.S. super lasers, capable, according to official communication, of concentrating energy to annihilate matter. He notes, however, that such weapons require enormous facilities, impossible to install on a conventional missile. From this arises a suggestive reflection. If the energy used were not conventional, where would it come from? This red thread links ancient legends, advanced science, and contemporary military technology without ever providing a definitive explanation. One of the most delicate points concerns claims of rejuvenation or dimensional transport attributed to Majorana. Di Stefano is clear. He does not take these claims seriously, considering them science fiction without verifiable basis. These stories have circulated for decades, but remain anecdotal. Without theoretical models, verification, or concrete proof, they cannot be treated as facts. Nonetheless, they contribute to the aura of mystery surrounding Majorana, Pelizza, and the machine. The story of Ettore Majorana and Rolando Pelizza leads us to the fine line between science, myth, and imagination. It is a narrative where documented reality, direct testimonies, and legends intertwine, leaving viewers and readers to navigate between what is verifiable and what remains shrouded in mystery. Di Stefano, with careful and patient narration, guides us through Pelizza's life, moral dedication, and integrity, portraying a man who, despite access to extraordinary knowledge and alleged international contacts, lived humbly and faced daily hardships. Even the most basic necessities, such as medical care for a simple infection, highlight the contrast between the sensational theories surrounding his name and his real circumstances. At the center of the story remains Majorana, an enigmatic and almost legendary figure whose scientific legacy extends far beyond what was published or made public. According to Pelizza, Majorana conceived machines capable of manipulating matter and energy in extraordinary ways, including phenomena now confined to science fiction: material transmutations, controlled annihilation, dimensional transport, and even temporal rejuvenation. Di Stefano treats these claims with caution, emphasizing that they are unverifiable statements, but faithfully reports them to convey their scope and the fascination they hold. The symbolic and historical analogies in the narrative help construct an evocative framework. The Ark of the Covenant, described in biblical texts as capable of destroying enemies, becomes a poetic parallel to Majorana's machine, a technology so powerful that, if it had existed in ancient times, it might have been considered divine. Tesla's death ray, an energy concentrator capable of destroying objects at a distance, serves as a contemporary, scientifically comprehensible reference, yet still close to what Pelizza attributed to the machine. Another fascinating theme is alchemical transmutation, narrated by Pelizza through concrete objects such as medallions and coins. The Madonna del Miracolo medallion, heavier than usual and unmarked, together with a Swiss 5-franc coin transformed into gold, serves as tangible testimony, in the story, of the possibility of manipulating matter. Di Stefano, once again, draws no definitive conclusions. He observes, connects, and leaves viewers to reflect. The narrative also encourages reflection on the present. Modern weapons, such as the announced U.S. super lasers capable of concentrating energy to annihilate matter, evoke a conceptual parallel with the capabilities attributed to Majorana's machine. The difference is clear. These technologies are scientifically explainable and require infrastructure compatible with known physics, while Pelizza's machine remains shrouded in mystery, with no official documentation or independent verification. In this context, Rino Di Stefano's book serves as a critical and documented guide. Nearly 500 pages of statements, testimonies, and in-depth analysis, allowing readers to examine the stories of Majorana and Pelizza with attentive, curious, and critical eyes. The goal is not to assert a definitive truth, but to create a narrative that stimulates questions and reflection. The story invites contemplation of the boundary between myth and reality, science and legend. Transmuted objects, extraordinary machines, unknown energies, and science-fictional theories merge into a narrative that highlights humanity's capacity to imagine the impossible and push beyond the limits of current knowledge. The collection of testimonies and anecdotes forms a red thread connecting ancient and modern times, biblical legend, scientific intuition, and potential future technologies. Ultimately, what remains is the allure of an open-ended story, capable of stimulating curiosity, wonder, and critical thinking. Understanding figures like Majorana and Pelizza allows us to observe the present more consciously, connect the dots between myth, science, and history, and maintain the capacity to discover what we do not yet know. An open mind thus becomes the principal tool for engaging with a complex and fascinating narrative, where enigmas, genius, and mystery coexist in a singular, compelling tapestry.